Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I have some news updates from around the land of smiles for you today, this Wednesday, August 21st. August 21st. Now, we'll be talking about some Farangs behaving badly, some new flight information going into Phuket, and a little bit later we'll be exploring some new diplomatic ties that are being made in Southeast Asia. First things first, let's get to our first story. Now, Etihad Airways is introducing luxurious flatbeds to Phuket in 2025. That's right, Etihad Airways will launch flights with luxurious flatbed business class seats on the Airbus A321LR between Abu Dhabi and Phuket starting August 2025. The route will feature 3 cabin classes, including first class and business class options. In addition, Etihad will increase its flight frequency to Thailand, aiming for 41 weekly flights by October 2024, including 20 to Phuket. The Boeing, 787-9 will serve the route from November 2025 to March 2026, with the 787-10 rejoining in April 2026, solidifying Etihad's dominance on the Thailand route. Interesting news, good news. If you got a lot of money and like to fly, it seems like that they are introducing new cabin classes where you'll be able to ride in luxury and style, something that I will not be able to access until Thaiger is paying me millions, which is, well, that's never going to happen. But hopefully some of you, our fans, will be able to indulge and let us know how that flight goes. Airbus for the cabin ones, so you can ride in comfort and mental security. No Boeings for that class. However, they are increasing the amount of Boeing flights that will be coming to the Land of Smiles, just showing you how many people are coming from, you know, Europe. Europe uses Abu Dhabi as a layover, a transition into Thailand. Not to mention all of the people coming from the Middle East these days as well. Shows that Thailand is still a booming and still a popular destination for people coming from that part of the world. All right, well, anyways, enough of that. We're moving on to our next story, which we have a little bit of a celebrity scandal here in Thailand. So Thai actor QP faces backlash after another fatal incident. Thai actor QP is facing public backlash after being involved in another fatal incident, a jet ski collision that resulted in 2 deaths. This follows a previous incident where QP caused a car accident, injuring a woman and damaging her motorcycle. The woman recently shared her story, revealing that QP initially offered compensation, but later refused the responsibility, leading to a court ruling that found him at fault. The recent jet ski accident has reignited concerns over QP's reckless behavior, prompting public calls for stricter regulations on watercraft operations. This guy sounds like a bit of a jerk. Now, of course, the wealthy feel that they can get away with things, you know, a little bit more than the rest of us plebs. But here, this is a jet ski accident possibly caused by him, I'm assuming, but the investigation is still on as to what exactly happened. But it's not his first time behaving recklessly. And now this woman coming forward with her story is painting a picture of a man who does not like to accept responsibility for his actions. Fortunately, the first time, no loss of life. This time there is. So the longboat driver and its passenger were both killed in this incident. So I expect a very thorough police investigation to find exactly what was at fault and what kind of justice this guy will be facing. Nobody should be above the law, especially people that are supposed to be role models in our society, somebody like an actor like this. Yeah, details to come. We'll keep you abreast of this situation because it is definitely a big old scandal here in Thailand. Moving on to our next story, which also involves another accident. A foreign cyclist has been seriously injured after a collision with a Phuket taxi. That's right, this foreign cyclist in Phuket was severely injured after being hit by an airport taxi with a green registration plate on August 18th. Photos from the scene show the cyclist being transported to a hospital with his damaged bicycle nearby, severely mangled, if you can see. The taxi driver was not present at the scene, and the incident sparked concerns among Thai netizens who expressed their well wishes for the cyclist and shared their own negative experiences with airport taxis in Phuket. Many noted that the area where the accident occurred is notorious for dangerous driving by taxis and minibus drivers. Hopefully this guy can make a speedy recovery. He was rushed to the hospital. It seems like he'll be on that road for recovery for a little while. But also interesting that the taxi driver made a dash for it. He bolted out of there, not accepting responsibility for the severe accident. And this is why so many people are turning to the ride-sharing apps, right? Like, this is why the taxis are constantly complaining about the loss of customers to apps like Bolt. If you're in Phuket, it's Grab or InDriver. It creates the paper trail of responsibility, right? In case something terrible like this happens, they're able to find out exactly who was responsible for this, and that leads to better behaving drivers. You're not going to be scammed, right? The price is agreed upon beforehand. If something dangerous happens, you have a way to track down the perpetrator and create some justice, some consequences for them. So, an uphill battle for taxi drivers to win over the hearts and minds of the public, especially with stories like this making headlines. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you using taxis still in Thailand? Or have you made the full-on switch like I have to the ride-sharing apps? Next story, funny one, some immediate consequences for a Thai thief. So a Thai thief was trapped between buildings during a daring escape attempt. So this Thai thief attempted to escape after breaking into an abandoned bank in Kanchanaburi, but ended up falling into a narrow 50-centimeter gap between two buildings. The 40-year-old man fled to the rooftops after spotting the police, but misjudged a jump, leaving him injured and trapped. Rescuers from the Pitak Foundation were called to the scene, where they managed to pull him out after an hour. The suspect was taken to the hospital for treatment and will be transferred to police custody once his condition improves. A little bit of a 127 hours moment, but fortunately, they were already hot on his tail. Can you imagine if this guy had done the thievery, was making his escape, made this jump, and just ended up stuck there? Nobody would have known. Fortunately, this is not a more tragic story. This guy faced some very instant karma in this situation. And nothing too serious in the injuries department, but he will be being transferred to police custody to face justice for his, ill-thought-out actions. What do you guys think of this one? Making an escape like this, I don't know. I can't think of a more immediate response from the karmic gods than this. Pretty funny one. Now, where we got some misbehaving tourists for the next couple of stories, or Farangs at least. A drunken tourist allegedly assaults a German man and his Thai wife in Pattaya. So in the early hours of August 20th, a drunken foreign tourist allegedly attacked a 60-year-old German man, Raul Peter Malone, and his 27-year-old Thai wife, Punwin Ramakul, at the Gold Bar Beer on Pattaya Beach Road. The altercation left Malone with serious head injury and requiring over 9 stitches, and Ramakul with a dental injury. The suspect, identified only as Michael, refused to provide further details to the authorities and made offensive gestures during his arrest. Legal actions are pending as the victims recover. What a jerk, this Michael guy. Good God. Not only did he sent these people to the hospital, beat up an old man, right, 60, with his 27-year-old wife, classic Pattaya couple, and then faced those consequences with even more defiance, flipping birds. This man is going to be made an example out of, I can imagine. Thailand does not like to tolerate, first of all, you're getting involved in violence, and then adding insult to injury. That doesn't go down well over here. So we'll see what kind of consequences to these actions he will be facing, but surely he will not be, well, either the inside of a Thai prison or definitely never being allowed here in Thailand again. Not going to happen. All right, well, speaking of entitled farangs, on to our next story. A foreign man is compensating a Thai woman after a dog-related dispute. In Udon Thani, a foreign man named Franz paid 1,500 baht to a Thai woman, Maud, after a dispute involving her barking dogs led him to crash his motorcycle into her fence and again make Offensive gestures. Flipping birds everywhere, the foreigners these days. The incident, captured on video by Maud, showed Franz honking his horn and raising his middle finger at her. After Maud filed a police complaint, the tourist police intervened, leading to a negotiation where Franz initially offered 1,000 baht, but settled on 1,500. The two agreed to resolve their differences and promised to be good neighbors moving forward. Isn't that sweet? I love one of these stories. These stories are hilarious to me, where the police just come in and act like parents with two misbehaving children. It's like, what did you do that was wrong? What did you do that was wrong? Okay, this is the punishment. Give her a little money, apologize, kiss and make up, and everybody's fine. So, 1,500 baht, I'm sure as a Farang man in that area, that's probably not breaking the bank, and it's more of a symbolic gesture for his rude behavior, right? Come on, dude. A dog barking caused you to crash? You're probably not fit to be on the roads if that's enough distraction to get you to, do some property damage too. So, she'll have to pay to get that fixed. And then, of course, the insult to injury, flipping birds, man. Everybody's quick to just shoot those off, man. Can we all just get along? Pretty funny. Happy ending to this story. There you go, Nongwa Sao. There's your joke for the day. But, yeah. Love the way that the police handled this, and let me know what you think in the comments. Is this an appropriate ending to this particular situation? Now, moving on, we're into ASEAN now, where Australia and Indonesia have signed a defense cooperation agreement. So, Australia and Indonesia have signed a treaty-level defense cooperation agreement, allowing their militaries to operate from each other's countries. Announced by Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Indonesia's President-elect Prabowo Subianto, the pact aims to bolster security and regional stability. The two nations, which share the world's largest maritime boundary, already collaborate on various issues, including security and countering drug smuggling. The agreement reflects a deepening strategic trust between the neighbors, though Indonesia maintains its non-alignment policy, balancing relations with both China and the U.S. That's very interesting. They'll be able to do joint exercises. Indonesia maintains its non-alliance or its non-alignment policy, and this is sort of a nod to China. However, allowing other, U.S. allied nations like Australia to operate their military out of your country is a big signal. So we'll see how China responds to this, and if Indonesia is able to maintain their delicate diplomatic balance. It's a massive population and a strong economy, and also a large Muslim population, which also plays into its politics. But we'll see. Australia supports Indonesia a lot. If you just look at Bali, it is overrun with Australians at any given moment. So this kind of alliance does make a bit of sense. All right. Mandalik says that new Thai PM responded very warmly to being greeted, the greeting sent by the Indian Prime Minister. Yeah, well wishes coming from around the world for Phe Thong Tan. We'll have more news updates for you as she gets settled into her position. All right, moving on to our next story, more diplomacy. Now, Philippines is set to host a U.S. visa processing center for Afghan nationals. The Philippines has agreed to temporarily host a U.S. immigrant visa processing center for 150 to 300 Afghan nationals seeking resettlement in America. The arrangement, part of deepening ties between Manila and Washington under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., will allow Afghans who worked with the U.S. government in Afghanistan to stay in the Philippines for up to 59 days while their special immigrant visas are processed. The U.S. will cover all costs, including housing and security. The agreement, which faced local concerns over security and legal issues, is pending final approval by Marcos. This is just, this is a no-brainer to me, man. America withdrew from Afghanistan. The Taliban took over swiftly, and we left many, speaking as an American, we left many of those people who worked with us back in Afghanistan basically to fend for themselves, which is very dangerous considering Taliban was an adversary of ours, and they, have pretty draconian punishments over there, especially if you are suspected to have helped and aided the enemy, namely America. So this seems like the least we can do. And, of course, America's footing the bill, but with immigration still being such a sensitive topic on the campaign trail in America, it does seem like this is a politically calculated move to have this center, this refugee center, or processing center, in the Philippines rather than on American soil, where it could be used for political purposes leading up to the November election. Still, hopefully they are able to transport these people out. These were translators, workers in the embassy, things like that. Absolutely necessary, and in my book, least we can do. Let me know what you guys think about that one in the comments too. All right, now moving on to our last story. This is about India and Malaysia. They are set to strengthen relations with trade and defense cooperation. India and Malaysia are resetting their relations, with Prime Ministers Narendra Modi and Anwar Ibrahim agreeing to enhance trade, worker movement, and bilateral transactions using their own currencies. Relations previously strained due to comments on Kashmir by Malaysia's former Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad have improved under Anwar's leadership. The countries have elevated their partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership and are exploring cooperation in areas like semiconductors, AI, and defense. India will also make a one-time export of 200,000 metric tons of non-basmati rice to Malaysia, and they agreed on a framework to support Indian workers in Malaysia. So, yeah, this is an interesting topic because Malaysia has traditionally Muslim ties. They are very pro-Palestine and would also be supportive of Pakistan and their claims in the Kashmir region, which would, of course, not make the sort of Hindu nationalist parties that Modi leads happy over there. So Malaysia always playing a very careful balancing act in diplomacy, as well as so many Southeastern Asian countries do, trying to maintain the balances between so many different competing interests within their own country and then, of course, internationally. So good news, though. Always nice to see more diplomacy and, of course, a major exporting of rice, of food, to lower the rice prices for Malaysia. That's very nice, too. So hopefully that relationship can foster and grow, and we can see more cooperation between those two nations. However, always interesting politics when we talk about India. I think maybe we'll start to cover more of them, too, because there's a lot of interesting news coming out of there as well. Okay, so Nick Kim asked, can you explain their own currency? So they'll make it easier to do trade deals with each other's currency. So what is the, India is the rupee. I think Malaysia is a rupee as well. I'm not sure about Malaysia's currency over there in Kuala Lumpur, but they by making it easier to do trades in each other's respective currencies, you can do more direct deals. Private industries will be able to deal more without having to convert their currencies and things like that and lose costs and banking fees that way, because those become substantial when you talk about the major deals that go on. So yes, this is again, that's another reason why so many people are turning to cryptocurrencies, because those are borderless and lack banking fees. So this is why the banking system isn't a big fan of cryptocurrencies in general. They can't make too much money off of it. The ringgit. Thank you, Elliot. That it's the ringgit. I knew it started with an R, but yes, that's their thing. Maybe I'm not understanding your question, Nick Kim. If you can elucidate for me, I'd like to know, to be able to help out. Let's see. All right, guys, let me wrap up the news. I'll get in the comments in just a second. But yeah, everybody, that'll do it for the news today from thetiger.com. You can always go to thetiger.com for more news stories throughout the day. We're constantly updating things, letting you know what's happening in the land of smiles.